Hi, in this video we'll be continuing with the C# video tutorials. So in this video we'll be continuing with, so we'll be going over working with files and arrays. So basically just files, how you can use them, so how you can use arrays with files. So if you're interested in the rest of the tutorial, just look back to the playlist for C#, it's on my channel. And start from the beginning. Okay, so I'm just going to delete some of this stuff from last time. Delete this. Okay, so remember to use files, stream writers and stuff, you have to go up here to the using statements, go with using system.io. Okay, so then we'll have so the notes, so how to write an array's contents to a file. So here's, let's try that. So let's have let's pretend we have, well yeah, let's just say we have an array here. I guess we're not pretending because we're actually going to code something. So int array vals array points to some values. Let's just say some random stuff here. Actually, I don't know if we can store a number that big in an int. It's a pretty big number here. Whatever, so let's just go with some random large numbers. I know they kind of look similar, but okay, so we have some random numbers. So then here, if we go, we'll have to create a stream writer output file. Well, it's just a stream writer object reference variable. I think I forgot a semicolon there. Okay, so then this could be moved over as well. So let's say we have a stream writer. Because remember, you can't just write with file unlike Java, so C# is a little different in this sense that you have to create a stream writer object to write to a file. So let's just say we have output file. Whoops, yes, a private stream writer output file. Then in the constructor we'd want to go with so output file points to file.create text. Let's go with array. Let's go with a C# arrays.txt. Actually, that's going to have to be to a path in a string. Okay, so let me do a path. Windows sign. I think it has to have an @ symbol in it. I forgot the exact syntax. Okay. I'll just go with a computer name here. Oops, what's happening? Okay. Is there something wrong with that? Nope, that seems to be right. I think that @ sign's in the correct spot. I figure out the syntax. It might actually work without the @ sign as well, but anyway, so that's fine. So we're creating a file at that location, which is called C# arrays.txt. So if we go for in the constructor still, we could say for int I points to 0, I is less than vals array dot length. I++. So in Java this is a capital L and I believe there's parentheses here. But in C# there's, I wonder why there's no parentheses there. Is it not a method? Maybe it's just a property. That can get confusing. We'd have to check the docs on that. Let me just check the docs on that actually now. I'm just curious to see what it actually is. So I'm just going to look on my other separate computer. I'm going to go with C# docs arrays dot length. Microsoft. Okay, so it's going to the Microsoft website, learn.microsoft.com. So array.length, it's a property, that's why. Okay, so let me go with what is a property in C#. A property is a member that provides a flexible mechanism to read, write, or compute the value of a private field. Properties can be used as if they're public data members, but they're special methods like accessors. So they're basically methods. They're special methods. We might have discussed this at some point, probably earlier on. Actually, we did. But it's a little unique to C#, so it's kind of confusing. It's not something that's like the same in all languages. For example, methods or functions or variables. It's a special thing. But so properties are special methods. Java has properties too, I believe, actually. But they're mostly just used in GUI. Well, I guess this is GUI. But they're even more confusing in Java. That's why I didn't like JavaFX. I preferred Android. Android had it right. JavaFX was kind of silly. There was some special, like, properties made it confusing. The syntax was a lot different than the normal language, whereas here, I think Microsoft had it right. It's very close to the C# and .NET. It's almost the exact same thing. They go hand in hand, where Java kind of strays off the path. It almost creates a new syntax completely. But anyways, that's what a property is. So that's why there's no parentheses here, because it's a special method where they can take the parentheses off, which is a little confusing. So the array.length property gets the total number of elements in all the dimensions of the array. Applies to .NET, .NET Framework, .NET Standard, UWP, Xamarin.iOS, and Xamarin.Mac. So you can use this in Xamarin, which can create mobile apps as well. Which we might do later at some point. Maybe, maybe not. I know we're going to be going with React, I think, instead, which is kind of like a native language to create apps, like mobile apps. Desktop, mobile, anything. Okay, so let's just continue on. Continue on here. Back to the notes, wherever my notes went. Okay, so basically we have numbers.length, or sorry, we have vals array.length. Let's just continue with that. Alright. So for I points to 0, I is less than vals array.length, I plus plus. So we can go here with, then we want to say we could say so we could say output file. Output file dot write line, passing in vals array. So it's going to call output file dot write line and then pass in vals array of index I. So what's happening here? So we're writing. So we're writing to the output file vals array of array index I, so it's going to write all the values, each index per line. Then at the end we can close the file stream. Output file dot close. And that's it. We can also read values from a file to an array. So let's go with that as well. Okay, so reading values from a file to an array, we can have pretty much all new code here. So let's just delete this stuff here. We take that out, take that out, take that out. Okay, so then let's say here, constant int size points to, for example, like 3. Oh yeah, I forgot private again. So private, so if you don't type it, I think C# just automatically creates them as private. So private constant int size points to 3, so int array, which we don't have here. So let's go with that. Int array vals points to, actually let's go with vals array. Let's just call it array. So int array array points to new int, passing in size as the size. So we can say, okay, then we want an int index points to 0. We also want a stream. Whoops. Let me zoom in here. So let's say we want a private. So let's say we want a private stream reader. Private stream reader input file. We'll say input file. So private stream reader input file. That's an object reference variable. In the constructor, then we want to say input file. I want to say input file points to file dot open text. We're gonna open a file. Then we're gonna pass in the path. Need an @ sign. So C, comma, / user / computer name / folder / the file will be what I just said, C _sharp _ arrays. Did I do it with a capital? Is that reading properly? Should be okay for now. So then we'll have a while loop. So while index is less than array.length. Whoops. And. Whoops. So while index is less than array.length and not input file dot end of stream. So that means while the input file is not at the end of the stream, so that means that it's still going to process while there's still data to process. That's what it's saying. then array of array index points to int.parse, passing in input file dot read line. It's getting a little tricky here, but nothing crazy. Actually, this is kind of advanced, to be honest. So index plus plus. That means we're going to increment. This is getting into data structures now since we're using arrays. But pretty much so we're saying while the index is less than the array.length, then we want to say and. So while the index is less than array.length and the input file is not at the end of the stream, which means there's still data to process. Well, index is less than array.length, so array.length in this case is 3. So we're starting index at 0, right? So then we're saying we can't make this const because this is index is gonna change. So that means it's not a constant. Size is a constant because it doesn't change. So then it's gonna say, okay, well in that case, then array of index, which is 0 the first time, points to int.parse input file.readline. So it's gonna pass the string as an int to the array index, back to the new. It's going to copy from, remember from the old array, we copied the elements into the text file. Now we're saying, okay, well from the text file we want to copy those array elements into a new array. Then we're going to increment array, we're going to increment the index plus plus. So index is going to go from 0 to 1. It's going to go to the bottom bracket of the loop back up, check the condition. So it's going to make sure index is less than array.length and the input file is not at the end of the stream, which means there's still data to process. Then it's going to say array of index 1 because 0 plus 1 is going to increment down here before, points to int.parse. It's going to pass in, or sorry, it's going to pass the input file, whichever index is next in the text file or the element. It's going to pass it as an int and store that in array index 1. Then index is going to plus plus or increment. So 1 is going to become 2, and it's going to make sure index is less than array.length. So 0, 1, 2. So 2 is going to be the last one. Once it's 2, then it's going to check this condition here. And it's going to say, okay, well since index is now 2, so if it's 3, then in this case it's not going to be less than array.length. Because it's going to make this condition false. It's going to be out of bounds. So therefore this loop wouldn't get hit. It's going to be done then. So after all that, just don't forget to close the text file or the file stream. So we'll say input file.close, and that's it. And that's pretty much it. So we'll probably just end it there. That's a lot of information. So how to write an array to a text file and read the array back to the text, or read the array from the text file and write an array to a text file and read an array from a text file back to an array. So that's the end of the notes. Well, I guess it's kind of a lab, but we're going to be doing more examples like this later on. Thanks for watching, guys. If you guys liked the video, you can like and subscribe to support the channel for more programming and investing tutorials. In the next video, we'll be going over passing an array as arguments to methods, or multiple arrays as arguments. So that's a little tricky. It's actually quite easy though, so we'll go over that, and then yeah, so then after that we'll be, what else we can do after that? Some useful array algorithms, finding the highest value in an array, lowest value in an array, sorting and searching arrays. So that'll take us a little bit to go through those for the notes. We're still going to do code. We're going to do labs on those later on. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.